Yeah, everybody.
Hello.
How come everyone's hiding except for Yasmin and Cooper?
Yeah. I'm in my
um,
pajamas, guys, so I've got my camera off.
It's like late for people in the UK, right? Ish.
I'm in New Zealand, so it's early in the morning.
Okay. Oh, I see.
um,
It's like
yo,
late
Greg,
afternoon here.
Greg, and MT and Leo and Annie. Are you guys? If you don't want to reply, it's cool. You can reply in the message because I understand you might not want to show your face. But if you guys want to get like interactive and stuff, it'll be easier for me if you guys have your camera on. But if you don't, then you can just be chilling in the background. And then if you have any questions, I guess if you're shy, you can put it in the question box. But it'll be much more natural to just be able to like see each other and talk like we were in a workshop.
Hey Grayson,
Um,
here's
Sup,
my.
Leo?
I'd like to turn on my camera, but my camera is broken, so I just can talk. But I can try and fix it with the camera. But I'm
Nah,
on
it's
it.
all good, brother. No
I'm,
worries. No worries. It's not. It's nice to hear your voice and feel there's a human there.
and of course, I'm from Switzerland.
Oh wow! Which part of Switzerland?
I'm in the north. Do you know Basel?
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it?
Do you have
Yeah,
the
it's a
mountains?
no, no. We live. We have a big river, but the mountains are in the other. On my English not that good. In the other hand of the country.
Oh wow! Bet you it's beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for coming on the call, man.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you
Thanks
do you
for
have
inviting.
do you have a pair of these already, or are you curious and you're gonna do something with some other shoes, or what are you?
Not yet, but I want to buy one of those shoes of yeah, 100%. But
You have
Awesome.
to.
well, I'm not sure yet. It's like the black ones or the white ones. But
Okay.
what do you like more personally?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I go through like phases where I favorite one for a period of time and then I change and um that's a very hard question because like the white ones uh they're just like a beautiful white, it's like what depends like what you like to wear, I guess, but it's
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
beautiful white trainer and the leather gets better when you wear it. And then the black's very versatile because if you want, like you could wear that with a suit and no one
Yeah.
would, like blink an eyelid because it's just beautiful. It's all Italian leather.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like the black with the black laces in because it's just like a really low key, um, like cool, beautiful shoe. So I got this incense on and it's blowing across my screen. I'm gonna put it over here. All right. So, um, what do you reckon? Should I just start doing some hand dyeing and then we can chat as we go?
Yes,
Yeah.
Have you
sir.
ever hand dyed it on like a used pair? Like, do I have to like spot clean it or what do you
Uh,
recommend?
I wouldn't be too concerned. All I would say is like, obviously just make sure they're not like super dirty, just brush them off.
Perfect. Okay.
Um, but this one I'm about to dye. That's been worn at one of the hikes that we did. So yeah, that's fine. That the dye is pretty strong.
Okay.
Um, yeah. And then all I would suggest is just take the laces out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do that.
I think I might have missed a memo about the dye workshop. Do you guys have like dye ready to go, both of you?
Uh, do you have it, Yasmin?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
but
Okay.
Yeah.
but it,
No,
it's
I'm
a
happy to just watch.
Yeah, I think it was not necessarily about having to do it in real time, but it's cool that Yasmin is ready to go. That's cool. But it was more for people because I've had quite a lot of questions from people who want to do their own hand dyeing. And I think what we'll do is we'll just talk through it and then we'll do some demos. And then Yasmin, if you want to do some of yours while we're going, because you're doing yellow, right?
I actually switched up. I'm gonna do a blue jean, but it's like a light blue. And then with yellow
Ooh,
laces, maybe. Yeah.
that will be cool. See, it's
Yeah.
fun. You can play around with it. So yeah, I mean, you can just. It's more just to like people have asked. So, and I think what we'll do is because quite a lot of people that were interested couldn't make it on, so we'll put it on YouTube and then, or if you guys are happy that it goes on there, if not, we won't. But that's it. And then yeah. So if you want to just chill and see what we do and then hang out, and then as we go, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk about or anything, we're just open forum, I guess, of people that just like enjoying life and feeling in alignment with life, with everything they do, and yeah, just hanging out. That's how I see it.
Love that.
Yeah. So I'll just get started really, and then anyone can ask any questions or jump in as we go. So yeah, just take the laces out. Do you know what I also want to do? I want to dye a pair of the light brown, the light beige mules. That could be fun to see what they look like. Because the only
I
mules
guess those are suede, right? The material.
yeah. But the suede, you can dye the suede with the same dye.
Same guy. Okay.
Yeah, because on all the ones I've dyed, because obviously the trainer is suede and Napa leather. So it works for both. My lace is stuck. Sorry about that, team. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah. All right. So it's pretty easy. Pretty much, it depends what you want to do. So some of the ones that I've done, I've dyed only the suede, so you can create like a two-tone effect, which looks pretty cool. So I've done some that have like a brown toe box, and then you leave that white. And then as well, when you're like doing it, so you might want to just do the toe box first, Yasmin, and then play around and see what it looks like if you did it two-tone. That just means you gotta like, but pretty much the dye all the dyes, the leather dyes come with that little guy. It's like this little sponge thing. And it's also handy to have like a little small like paintbrush, because then you can just get into some of the edges. But today I'm just gonna use this, and then but with the paintbrush is only particularly helpful if you are only wanting to do like the suede, so you sort of don't go over the lines with that spongy one. And then it depends, like if you want to keep the inside white and really clean, when you use the dye across here, you can then like sort of leave the lines and then use the paintbrush to sort of paint, so it keeps it really neat.
Okay.
So it just depends on how, some of the ones I've dyed, I've done it more like just bang the dye all over it, and it looks kind of cool. It brings a bit of character when things go over the line and stuff, I feel. But that's the beauty of the hand dyeing, because the leather of these is so beautiful. When you hand dye it, it creates like a texture. But pretty much what you should do is do like a layer, and you be generous with the amount of the dye that you use. So you just dip it in and like really soak that in it. And you just sort of layer it over in one go. Like you probably go over it like 2 or 3 times in the first go, and then you leave it and let it dry for like a few hours. And once it's dried out after a few hours, you get a good feel of like how heavily the dye is sitting in the leather.
Okay.
And then it's up to you how you can do as many rounds as you want. Like I've done ones that have had like 5 or 6 rounds and it sits like really deeply into the leather. And then I've had ones that I do like only 1 or 2 rounds because it looks kind of cool when the color
Like
is
a
sort of a
wash.
bit more, a bit more translucent.
Mm-hmm.
So today you've got blue, Yasmin. After the first round that we do, it'll be quite light and translucent, and then you can get to see what you feel about it, and if you want to do some more rounds. And then as it dries out, you'll start to notice there's some areas that maybe like could do with a little touch up, another layer. So yeah, but pretty much you just dip it in and. Do you want to start with just the toe box, or you want to just sort of? Should we just go?
Actually, I might do the insole area and leave the toe box for now, the suede part.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do, and then think about, do I want to change the color on the suede part and
Okay.
have it like a more darker blue? I don't know.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah,
Wait, so
yeah,
what are you gonna start with just the smooth leather
yeah.
part?
This guy. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, let's get going then. So just dip it in and you just start painting and you can be quite
Okay.
generous.
Love that. What color are you going for?
Mine is blue marine or navy blue.
Navy blue. Love that.
Azul merino. Yeah, I have done a pair. I actually did one of the very first samples from out in Italy in this exact color, which really was the one that got people really curious and asking about the hand dye and seeing if they could get that colorway and stuff. And then as well, and also don't be too worried about the gum sole. Like be reasonable, like you don't. But the thing is, over time, the dye doesn't stick to the gum sole, so it sort
I
of
see.
wears off in its own time. So if you go over the lines of the gum
It'll
sole,
naturally.
yeah. But I mean, I don't know how well you can see that, but already
Oh,
like
nice.
Oh wow.
the way that the dye looks in the leather is pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mine's
Yeah.
like more of a light blue shade.
Oh
Oh, it's
wow.
so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
cool.
called Blue Jean, if someone wanted to
Yeah,
get that done.
that's cool. That looks nice. Do you know I'm taking this pair out? There's this guy I connected with on Instagram in LA, and he's like he lives in the east side of LA, and he does the crip walk?
The cripple. No.
The crip walk. So
Oh, the crip walk, like the
yeah, the
guy.
crip walk.
Oh,
Yeah, the crip walk. And he's like absolutely amazing at this. Sorry about that. My iPad overheated, but I'm indoors now, so I think that will be hopefully my last disconnect.
No.
Okay.
It looked so nice outside though.
yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm in Topanga and up in the mountains. It's so beautiful here. Okay, so it's looking pretty cool already.
Mhm.
Grayson, you were telling us a story about the crip walk, and we're all waiting
Oh
to
yeah,
hear.
yeah, that's right. So he's so amazing at this called the crip walk, but it's this dance that he does. And I messaged him and I was like, man, like I'd really love for you to do the crip walk in these in a pair of my heart workshops. And then he replied to me, he goes, yeah, do you have them in blue? And I was like, I can make them for you in blue. And then so I'm dyeing this pair with you guys today because I'm gonna take them out at some point this week, I think like Tuesday or Wednesday. And I'm gonna go out into I don't know his actual neighborhood, but I feel like it's going to be a wonderful and fascinating and beautiful experience where I get to connect with some really cool and interesting people. And he's going to do a cool dance in these blue shoes. So there we
Love
go.
that.
Yeah. Last year when I was out here, my car got robbed. And I moved into this new Airbnb, and I got there late at night, and I was like, oh, I'll bring my suitcase in the morning. And then in the evening, late at night, I heard the car alarm, and it was my car got robbed.
Shit.
And
Welcome to LA.
yeah, and it was all of my favorite things that I'd collected from like all different parts of the world, like Japan, Italy, throughout UK. And I really was quite sad about, the feeling of letting go. But I think life was giving me an opportunity to let go of some attachments. And but then I needed some clothes, so I was like, I Googled like where I could buy some of the types of things that I had lost. Um, Particularly, there's this Japanese brand that I really like. It's called Oslo. Um, and then I was Googling like where I can find stuff like that. And it suggested on Google Mohawk General Store
Oh yeah, that's in
in,
Silver Lake.
in Silver Lake. And I went there, and that shop is really cool. I really recommend checking that place. So I want to go back there. And you know what's cool? When the shoes launched in January, the owner, I didn't meet the owner or anything. I just went in there and I bought a few things to replace some of the things I'd lost, and thought it was a really cool shop, and the staff were cool and nice, and I had a great experience there. And I was like, what an amazing like curation of really cool things they've got. And then when the shoes launched, the owner messaged saying, hey, we're really interested in stocking your shoes in Mohawk
Oh
General
wow.
Store. And I was like, whoa, that's sick. I bought some cool stuff from your shop. I really like it. Yeah. So I want to go check that place out again. So yeah, if there's the ones, what do you call it? Sway,
Sway, Suay.
Suay,
And
yeah. I'll go
yeah,
check it
but
out.
uh, we'll connect over WhatsApp, and I'll give you some other tips too
Oh, amazing.
for the arts
Yeah,
district.
that would be cool.
In the Arts District, there's this vintage store called DLR. It's an incredible like curation of vintage wear. But when I
Wow.
went there, the owner he's I think usually there, he also makes like shoes, like mules, like very high end kind of
Oh,
leather. And I actually mentioned like because I was wearing your what's it called, the mules, the beige
yeah,
mules. And
yeah.
he commented on those, and I was like, "Yeah, I was just here for the hike." And the owner, he also makes like shoes in Portugal. So if you go, definitely check him out. He's like around
Yeah.
your age and the same
Oh,
type of
wow.
energy, and he's like so like obviously it's his vintage
Amazing.
store, but passionate
Yeah,
about making shoes. And I feel like
that's
you guys
it.
would,
I'm gonna definitely go there then. I got some
yeah,
good spots to go check out in my last week in LA. Georgia
love
might
that.
be needing to extend my flight booking if I have that much fun.
Yeah, LA
Yeah.
is a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I love LA. When are you gonna move to LA,
I
Yasmin?
think I have a year here left in Miami. I mean, I just moved here, but I
Yeah,
think LA is calling my name.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
me
don't know.
too.
Uh, I like the proximity to the water, the mountains, and I think people have this laid back energy, which is very contagious, I would say.
Yeah, I like the energy of the people. I
Hmm.
find them very chilled. Well, particularly, I don't know the people I've met in the areas and stuff. I don't know what it's like across the whole. I think there's certain areas that I don't feel very drawn to. Um, like, but they're cool to go in and out of and be like, whoa, this is a whole another world out here, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing about Los Angeles is it really is this whole own world. Like California in general is absolutely massive, right? And like LA is a bit of a like melting pot of all different energy and environments, and yeah, I find it fascinating. I find the environment like very expansive, you know, the blue skies, the mountains,
Yeah.
the ocean, and the city energy all together is very like woo. um it's no wonder it's such a innovative, creative, expressive hub of the planet. um like it's a very special, unique place, and yeah, I love it. I
Where
think
would you
it's
say
cool.
that you've been kind of matches that same energy? I've been to Mexico City and I loved it.
Yeah.
But curious where else you've been that like you felt drawn to.
um I think I feel like different experiences in different environments, because obviously it's just culturally different, like architecture, nature.
Mhm.
I found Mexico City a really quite profoundly beautiful energy, quite like very hard to describe, quite mystical in a way.
Yes, yeah.
um like because I feel the Mexican culture is quite, I find it fascinating. I feel there's so
Mhm.
much depth to it. Um, and then obviously that now is like a place of like a whole influx of different cultures and different people and evolution. And so I find that, but it still holds that real like raw
Mhm.
authenticity of the Mexican culture. So yeah, I found that a really fascinating place. Um, Obviously New York, there's also just no place like it in the world. I felt, as a dude who grew up in New Zealand, being in New York was just like wow. Like I felt like I was on a movie the whole time.
Mhm.
Like everywhere I went and everything I saw and interactions, you know, even what would be perceived as just very normal. I just felt like, you know, like growing up watching movies like Home Alone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
Has a
oh, New
nostalgic
York.
feel.
Yeah, because it's like, it's just like the movies.
Mhm.
It's like what you see on the movies. It's like, yeah, what they're putting on the movies. Almost like, you know, if you see like a police officer on the movies or like a homeless dude on, it's almost like they're actually that. The ones on the movies are the real ones, you know? Um, and and then yeah, like just so much going on, and nowhere for the energy to go, you know. It's like amplified because your vision, there's no like openness, it's all just like um so the energy I feel gets held, and then the weather obviously is quite extreme, either like really really hot or really cold, um which then again intensifies everything. So New York, and then, you know, like New York's a place where there's just like all, I feel it's such a, like, how do you describe it? Like if you ain't your real self there, it's gonna be a very hard place to get by. Like there's
Very
almost
true.
no room for like uh not being whatever the version of you that you are, the realist version of it, because it's so like cutthroat. Um so I
Yeah,
feel
it
that,
rewards. It
yeah,
definitely rewards like boldness and
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And people can
and hard
see
work.
through you. Like if you're putting on a character or persona, I think
yeah,
like, people can see through that to the point where even if you were pretending, you'd realize, let me just be myself. Because one,
yes,
no one's like questioning that part of you or
yeah,
bothered by kind of your
yeah,
existence even.
yeah,
Um, it's I spent a few months there before coming to Miami, and I just like you mentioned, it's like it make it or break it type of city. And
Yeah.
I think everyone has to like experience living in New York at some point in their lives. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a character building. Oh, character building is one way to describe it, but the way you just expressed it, Yasmin, is it's like character releasing. Because I feel you can go either way in a place like New York. You build up this identity to try be someone and something to the world around you.
Yeah.
And that you see a lot of like characters, like really like attached to the idea of who they are and their identity. And those people tend to sort of like, gravitate towards each other. And I think you see a lot of that in the kind of like that real fashion side of New York. But then I think it's the kind of place that allows the opportunity to really let go of the need to put on a front, because I feel if you have any awareness about your own like energy from within, you'll get to a point that's like, if I'm putting on a character out here, I'm gonna get absolutely exhausted and run myself into the ground, because it's just so stimulating all the time. And then I feel that it's a place that makes you aware, if you're ready to be aware of it, of just how important it is to look after yourself. Like, do the little things to be healthy and have energy. Because if you don't, that place will run you into the ground. Like,
Yeah.
you will be exhausted. Like, if you don't find a way to like breathe and regulate your system, eat things that are nourishing for your body, find a place that you can just put your feet on the grass, even for like 5 minutes a day. And, like disconnect from the buzz and the stimulus of constant interaction and people, by going inward, because it's an environment that it's pretty hard to find a space to be peaceful, like in terms of environmentally. So like,
You have to
even
go
like,
within.
yeah, you got to go inward to find it, which I think a place like New York, if you allow it to be, can be a blessing. And then I think it's a place that's like, if you really want to go after something and get it done, like if you can cut it out there in New York, you can cut it anywhere. And yeah, I love it. I don't think I could live there. I was there for 10 days and I absolutely loved being there. But after the 10 days, I was like, as much as I want to stay here and I love it, like I gotta get out of here. Like I need some nature. Yeah. But I met some, just some of the interactions I had with just like really regular everyday people were just absolutely beautiful. Like, yeah, it was cool.
Love
So
that.
And people in New York City are really, really nice and engaging. Like I know
yeah,
the stereotype is that they're rude and everyone's in a hurry, which can be
yeah,
true, but like you have to deal with people and engage with people in New York
yeah,
City.
yeah,
Just it's there in your
yes,
face all day, every day.
I
And
agree.
so
I feel that oh, sorry, you carry on, Cooper, what you're
yeah,
saying.
I'm all done.
I feel that I think that America in general is actually the people, and as a culture, and from my experience in comparison to other cultures, and now at this point in my life, I have traveled quite extensively to multiple, all sorts of different cultures. I'm not saying I'm the most in touch with like, all the different cultures, but my experiences, I feel American people as a culture are engaging people. Like, I feel that if you were to have even a brief interaction like even a hey, how you going? Have a good day. I feel that American people really they like, hey, yeah, how you going? I hope you have a great day. Like they'll fully
Yeah.
like look you in the eye, they'll speak it fully, and they'll actually lock eyes with you, and then you move on. And
Mm.
I think that's a pretty special and
Yeah.
cool and beautiful thing about America. And I'm from New Zealand, where we're friendly. We're known as being like a friendly culture. But I can honestly say, even the interactions in New Zealand, where it's like, "Hey, how's it going?" It's more like a box ticker. It's like it will be pleasant. It'll be like, "Oh, hey," be like, "Oh, yeah, have a good, yeah, how's it going? Yeah, yeah, good. Have a good one." But in America, it's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, how's it going? I hope you have a great day." And it's like, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
or even like if someone's interested in something that you're doing, they'll come over and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, like, what are you doing there?" And they'll fully be like curious.
Genuine in
Yeah,
that kind of interaction. Yeah.
yeah. I
But I
I
think
I I love America. I feel obviously it's such a huge place, so there's so much of a spectrum. But I think in life, when you come to a point where you realize you can from within choose how you see life, and then life brings more of what you choose to see into your reality. I've had some of the most divine experiences in Los Angeles where, and I say the word divine just as a way to describe it, like, say, crossing the road in like a neighborhood where my friend lives in West Hollywood, and like a very like normal type of part of the neighborhood, crossing the road, and like a homeless dude, and blue sky, sun shining, big intersection, all the cars are waiting, and it's quite a long way to cross the road. Crossing the road, and like a homeless looking dude like pushing a trolley, and I'll say, "Oh, hey, have a great day, man," and he'll look at me, and in that moment, and like he looks a bit, when as I see him coming, a bit away with where he's at in his own like mind or whatever. And in that moment of interacting with him, he locks eyes with me, and he's purely his whole self. And he looks at me, he goes, "Have a great day too, man. Thank you."
Love
And
that.
what I see in his eyes is like it's like a higher being. And um I feel I have a lot of experiences like that in Los Angeles and California. And I don't mean to like do a comparison where I like speak badly about another environment, but my experiences a lot of the time in a place like London, if I have an interaction like that, they seem very like
Yeah.
disconnected, disengaged, angry,
Mhm.
almost
Mhm.
resentful. Whereas honestly, there's something about the frequency of California as a whole, because even homeless people, if you engage with them, you'll have a moment of like, a lot of the time, from my experience, like goodness, you know? And even
Yeah.
like, there'll be a dude and I'll be like, "Oh man, can I grab you a drink?" And he'll look at me, he'll be like speaking to the sky, be like, and I'll be like, "Yo man, it's hot out here. Would you like a drink?" He'll be like, "Yeah man, can you get me the matcha infused honey kombucha?" And I'll be and you can't help but be like, "Fuck yeah, I'll get you that honey
Yeah.
infused kombucha," like. And I don't know, man, it's something, and it makes sense to me why these beautiful, expansive like films have been created here, because the space is very conducive to like creativity, like
Yeah, it
it's an
accommodates
open.
kind of that thinking. Just you're absolutely right, because I lived in DC for a good chunk of my life, and kind of like similar to London, it's a circus, it's a bubble, and obviously it's made up of
Mm,
really good, genuine people, but being part of an environment where you're kind of plugged into the system, whether you want to or not.
yeah,
it clouds your everyday thoughts, and you just feel like you're just part of a machine. But
Yeah.
you're right. There are certain areas where, and I think it's more the land and the geography, and that
Yeah.
allows you to just have a moment, to connect with yourself, with a higher self. And
Yeah.
and DC, like, if you're not someone that has that already built in, I can imagine you're just like lost in that wave. It's like,
Yeah.
you'll maybe wake up
Yes.
30, 40 years later and you feel like, oh, you out for like a breath. But
Yeah.
it's very difficult. And like, why would, like, that's why I moved. It's like, why would I stay in an environment where I have to kind of like fight a wave, in a sense,
Yeah.
or
I
to
feel you.
connect, with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think that wherever you are, you can find inner peace and like vitality from within, and there's things that we can do to understand how to cultivate that infinite well of like energy from within, and love and peace and happiness and creativity and connection. Like in London, I had some of the most open, expansive, creative, aligned, connected experiences and times of my life. But certainly, like, finding my ways into the parks, putting my feet on the ground, being surrounded by trees, like having an ability to like see the skyline, like look up at the sky. Places that weren't like so stimulating
Yeah.
noise, people, like cars, like, and but then, like, it makes going in and out of it more enjoyable, like going into a like more stimulating sort of area of London, if you've started your day with the ability to like go inward and align your energy. Like, I feel if you're in a city and in a like role in life at this point in time where you're in a bit of a like routine and there's quite systematic beliefs going on around you, if you wake up and get into that mode like that, on the phone, in a rush to get to where you got to be, like that's when it can consume you. Whereas if
Yeah.
you understand within yourself, okay, if I'm up with enough time to feel no rush, that I can like allow this, because when you wake up in the morning, like, you should be at a very relaxed state. Like the world that your reality is coming to life through you as your mind starts to re-engage, and your senses and perceptions. So we should be like, like a little child. You don't want to shock the child, especially like a little newborn, anyone actually. You should never want to shock anyone, because what you're doing is you're throwing their nervous system. When you got friends that like to give people a fright, that's coming from a place of like inner, like their own like inner like tension, and it can come across like playful and stuff, but like if you're going around giving people like shocks, like you're expressing your own like angst onto people because you want them to feel what you feel. So like, but it can be very easy in a place that you're in a role in, like in a fast-paced environment, that you do that to yourself. Like, you wake up with this alarm's like, oh, and then you like the time you've given yourself, you get up, you do your thing, you get changed, you have a shower, you get on your way. And whereas I think starting your day with flow and presence, and even if it's like just some form of meditative state, even if it's like 5 or 10 minutes, and then allow that meditative state to flow into you know, how you prepare your morning food or drink, or the shower you take, and how you get dressed, and how you get on your way with in your car or on the public transport. Like, practicing flow, and also looking at life through the truth of reality. Like, if you are there late, or you miss your train, or you get stuck in traffic, the mind's like beliefs around conditioning will create this thing like, oh, like, if I'm there late,
Right.
I'm gonna be in trouble, and they're gonna think this of me, and that, or I'm gonna miss this, and that's the end of the world. Whereas if you just breathe and let that meditative state flow through you that you started with, the truth is, it's like, well, if I'm late, I'm late. No one's gonna die. I'm not gonna be late all the time, you know. And if I'm late, so be it, man. And then you like message the person or call that you need to call. You let them know. And then also, if they're an asshole about it, it's like, okay, well, they're an asshole, and so what? Like, I'm not an asshole. Like, so I just show up with clarity and get on with my day. Like, and then before you know it, like, there's never been a problem, and there is no problem. And then
Right.
seeing life through that state of surrender, and not allowing like the outside concept of angst to become your reality. You flow with life, because the thing is, in life, you might miss a flight one day, you might be late, you might get held up, like whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the awareness of the ability within us to go inward and disband tension. If we can have the practice of disbanding tension in our day-to-day way of being, we flow, and then our openness, and then we see life as it really is, rather than through someone else's concept of life. And that is a superpower, because I think we're taught so much that like the concept of life is what we need to achieve. But if we chase the concepts of life that we've learned around what happiness and peace and joy and abundance look like, we're literally just going to be chasing until the end. And like, you
Mm.
have short bursts of like small lived satisfaction if you achieve the idea of a concept in that moment. And then like, for a silly example, say I believe that I'm going to feel good once this call's done and I complete this pair of shoes, because that's this task that I need to get done. And then I finish and I look at my shoes, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. Feel a moment of satisfaction. What we're doing is we're creating this constant idea that we need to keep seeking the next moment of satisfaction.
Right.
Whereas what if we understand that inner knowing of who we are from within is our source of true satisfaction in life, and it's always constant, and in any moment we are that, and then that exudes through who we are and what we do. And through being that, what we do is we let go of that lens that says
Mhm.
you need to do this, this, and this in order to be happy and good and abundant and valued. And
Yeah.
then what happens is our actual just life becomes wholeness. And then by letting go of that lens, by becoming aware of tension in the body, because the conditioning lens, the body is it's like our um it's like a measuring stick of inner
Mm.
peace. If we have like subtle tensions in our jaw, in our face, in our hands, uh in the stomach, if our breathing's shallow,
Mm.
um it's a really beautiful signifier from the universe to say you're within tension, because you're living up here. You're not living
Mm.
here, because here is open. And so breathing, moving energy through the body with your breath, like down to the base of the spine. And the base of the spine is like our creative, energetic force. And then if you
Mm.
can consciously breathe the energy up the spine with the breath to the like crown of the head or the third eye, what you're doing is you're like moving stagnated creative life force, abundant, expansive energy up into the mind, which like moves this beautiful energy into the mind and like helps disband and create presence, because our being and our mind is an expression of our being, which is infinite consciousness. Our mind is this infinitely infinite source of beautiful, intellectual, creative, expansive potential. But what happens when we're in suffering and anxiousness and, like seeking and tension, we are just operating via learnt beliefs. And the more we surrender and allow ourselves the space, no matter what your environment, it could be, you can go into that present meditative state on a really hectic, busy underground in New York City, tube, or London. You could be in Melrose, LA, surrounded by fascinatingly dense materialistic characters. And you turn inward to your breath and consciously, like with your intention of your mind and presence with your breath, move energy through your body, and you look around and you can see beauty and awe and wonder in a tube, in a what's perceived as a more materialistic environment. And that's where, like, the truth is we do create our own reality. And it starts with like, I know Kanye West is a controversial character because of some of the ways he's said things and expressed things. But say you take away judgment and you look at certain things from a place of just resonance without picking apart, things that he said that may be controversial. A lot of the stuff he's talking about is in his own way, with the platform that he has got, with the being that he is. He's saying the same thing. He's like, beliefs are learnt concepts, like recycled ideas. The intuition is just infinite. It's infinite creative potential. Like a child just sees things in awe and wonder and asks questions and makes statements and wants to know how things work from just pure open potentiality. And now that's still who we all are. We take that knowing and we allow the evolved intellect that now has a clearer understanding of operating within the world, because we're now within this adult body that has access and means to do different things, and we combine that open, expansive, loving, pure potential with these tools that the intellect has acquired and the resources that the world has around us, and life is yours to be whatever you want it to be. And that's the thing. It's like, there's the left and the right side of the mind, right? Like, which one's the analytical thinking conceptual one? It's like, is it the left side, the right side?
I think the right. What's that, Yasmin?
No, you might know better, to be honest. But yeah, I'm leaning towards it's the right.
I would say it's the right, because I think masculine traits are much more action,
Logic based.
yeah, and feminine intuitive traits are much more flowing, aligned, intuitive, and in the human being, we all have masculine and feminine. Obviously, when you're a female, you're more predominantly expressing through feminine energy, and a male more predominantly through masculine. But to the right side of the brain, which we've become as a species, a lot more dominantly seeing life through, just through the systems and the structures and the ways of seeing life that we've been taught through school and media and just societal conditioning. The right side of the brain, if you consider how powerful our imagination is, the
Mhm.
right side of the brain dismisses that. It's like, shut up with that childish stuff.
I looked it up.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the right side of the brain is visual and spatial tasks, and facial recognition and art, expression of intense emotions. And the left side of the brain is language, speech, logic, math, analytical thinking. So the left
So
is
maybe we
more.
had it flipped.
Okay, yeah.
What's
So
that?
yeah,
I think we may
there we
have
go.
it flipped. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So everything we were talking about is the other way around. So
Mhm.
the left
We can switch.
and but if you think about it, I feel we've become a species that is more seeing life through that language and like analytical measuring things,
Right.
learnt ideas that you've remembered, and we've kind of like a lot of the time been taught, I feel, to like park that right side, which is that expansive, felt, experiential, visual, perceptive part of us. And I feel that going inward to that inner balance of yourself and sort
Mhm.
of dropping out of the mind, well, like dropping out of like attachment to needing to like go like operating from the mind. We go inward. What we're doing is we're bringing those back into balance. And from that place, like we have possibilities of our potential and how we can see life and the things we can do and what life really is. That when we're seeing life through that left analytical side so much of the time, we're kind of parking that. And I definitely know that from my experience, when you let go of the noise of that sped up, intensified left side and like just let it relax and dissolve. One, it serves you well because you let it function with more ease rather than adding tension on it all the time. And then you bring into balance this right side, and with it, it's no longer a matter of this fancy spiritual sounding thing of, oh, you create your own reality. It's like, no,
Mm.
like we are, a, this being is a vessel of creative expression, like infinite consciousness. It's like nature's vessel to experience life through a lens of this profoundly beautifully like aligned, intellectual, creative, expressive being, you know?
Mhm.
Whereas it's sad that a lot of the time we live in a society that's really tried to dull that down to get the majority of us into a way of operating that fits into a system that has this hierarchy attached to it, that there are this small, tiny percentage of people benefiting from that hierarchical
Mhm.
system. And this is where I guess creative expressions like the Matrix film, like are coming from. And it's obviously an extreme version in a movie that is looking at like, these different entities that are like creating hierarchy and power and control and systems that pretty much use energetic life force of human beings to generate their own outcomes for their own gain. Whereas if you don't get too caught up in like conceptual thinking and like good and bad and dark and light and all of that, but
Mhm.
just look at it from your own experience and see that, wow, life can be in the most normal way, the most beautifully wonderful thing, like, because the other thing is I feel from that conditioned way of thinking where there's this dangled carrot concept of get to this point in your life, get this much money in your bank account, get this many things going on around you and this and that and that, then you're going to experience happiness. You're
Mhm.
going to experience relaxation and peace. No, the opportunity to experience wholeness and abundance and love and connection is here and now. It's our being. And it's a matter of just allowing ourselves the presence to have space within our being to feel that and see that.
And I think this is an issue that is only in like the recent like 19th to 21st century where we're like dealing with this. But I would say like back then with all of, even if we're thinking about it from an output perspective, people back then used to create a lot more, like even when you're visiting museums and on structural buildings. And I think because they employed more of that right side of their brain where they had the ability to like unlock each, you're using both sides of your brain to create something that is far bigger or greater than yourself. And
Yeah.
lately, I think it just in the world that we live in today, that's been lost for the sake of output, for the sake of like capitalism. But like from an output perspective, what have we even created as human
Yeah.
beings in the past like few centuries? And it's clearly
Yeah.
serving a few and not
Yeah.
necessarily the greater
Yeah.
people and
Yeah.
communities.
No, I agree. But you know what I reckon is happening? Because I trust nature wholeheartedly. Like we are part of nature.
Yeah.
And even if you look at what our species has done in terms of chaos and destruction and cruelty and like all of that, because what I like to do, why I like open, expansive environments is because it allows me to actually perceive infinity. Like if you look out from like Venice Beach, you looking out at infinity. If you're in like where I love in Spain, the island Mallorca, you look out from those cliffs, you see infinity. You don't know where the sky and the ocean meet. Like you look up into the sky in the evening in an expansive space, and like you there's no end to that. And if you actually allow yourself to sit with it without analyzing, but just ask yourself the question, where is the end of that? It's infinity. So sometimes what I like to do is like zoom out my perspective from right up in the sky of infinity and look down upon all the planets and have this like ultimate, as ultimate as I can allow myself to, or like my current perception allows myself to perceive, view of reality. And then an example is where that can be helpful is like if I've ever like I was doing some like snorkeling out in Mallorca where I was just on the surface with my snorkel, but like looking down into the bottom of the ocean, and it's pretty wondrous. You're like, whoa, it's a whole nother dimension down here, and the aliveness of it, the movement, the translucency of some of the fish, and the light coming through the water to the aliveness of like the foliage under the sea on the like all of that, the rocks and stuff. It's like, wow, this is a whole nother dimension, and they got their whole own little universe going on down here that I'm not even really aware of in my day-to-day reality. And there's probably in their own way levels of species playing out with like the level of like beauty and creativity and connection, but also destructiveness and chaos that we are as as the human species on this planet. And then it makes you realize, okay, if there's this whole other dimension of a universe in the ocean here in the small portion of what I'm looking at, imagine the whole ocean, imagine the whole universe of up in the sky and infinity, and the different dimensions of frequencies and beings and possibilities of everything that our intellectual mind can't comprehend, but our inner heart knows is possible. And then if I zoom out and look at Earth from that point, I'm like, this human species is just doing its thing in alignment with nature.
True.
And I feel we're going through some type of stage where there's like quite an intense tipping point of opening up into this new expansive, beautiful, like a butterfly in a chrysalis, you know, like a caterpillar in a chrysalis. We're breaking out, and it's quite like, so there's systems and structures and beliefs that are like busting open right now. And with that comes, when you look at it from just a very human and analytical view, a lot of pain and chaos and destruction and cruelty. But if you look from this greater view lens up in the infinite dimensions, I celebrate it, because otherwise it's like,
Right.
what is this? What is this world? You know, like you get caught up in the doom and gloom of it all, you know, like, whereas life is beautiful. We're here to celebrate it. Nature has no mistakes. The cycle of life and death, birth and, or life and death, and I guess creativity and destruction. It's all a cycle. And then you look at nature on this realm of reality that we perceive. You know, I go out into these beautiful forests and hike, and you see these trees that have stood for, must be thousands of years, on their side decaying, but they're still, you know, there's an aliveness to them, but they're decaying into the earth. And then you have this feeling of like sadness that this tree is now no longer standing and alive and da da da. But then you look at it, and then you know that that tree is dissolving into the earth. The mycelium, which was the largest living organism in this planet, receives that energetic life force of that tree, its infinite intelligence, because it stood cultivating energy from the atmosphere, from the ground and the sky, and was so alive and had so much wisdom. That energetic life force is now being filtered through mycelium out into the earth and being rebirthed as creation and life force in infinite ways, that we then put our feet on the ground and connect with and receive. So I think it's helpful for our own reality to not get caught watching the news and getting caught in their ways of narrating what's going on in reality. Looking at life from our own understanding and perception, allowing ourselves to be in possibility of infinite, like, possibility of what's actually available in this whole universe, knowing like that meditative state allows our minds to release tension, and we see life from more expansiveness and wholeness, and we celebrate the ability that life has given us to see through this lens, because one day, like that tree, we'll be like, zoom, and this energetic life force will go into the infinite realm of possibilities and realign into some other, who knows, different dimension, like whatever it may be. I don't know, because my words and are only capable to describe the vibration that they make in this reality. But, you know, like what I know from my experience with what people in my life that have passed away, I have communication with them, and I have a presence, like, felt of their being in this reality, that they're no longer physically here. So even that opens you up to the possibility of, yeah, infinite potential. And love is infinite potential. And you even look at what a woman's body, and I'm not sure if George is still here, hiding behind that hand-drawn hat that I drew.
Yeah.
But you know, Georgia is growing a baby inside of her tummy right now, and my partner Y in New Zealand is growing a baby, and to observe that from just non-analytical, just presence, that in itself is just absolutely, like, in the best possible way, blows your mind open to possibilities of what this reality is, because this being is growing another being within their own body. So think of the infinite energetic life force that is flowing through us. We have the power to, a human has the power to create another being within your own body. Like, and we go around thinking that, you know, like, life is shit, and like we watch the news and feel fear and like judgment, and we get caught, you know, believing that life is only what we think it is through the lens of our beliefs and the systems that we find ourselves in. So we close ourselves off to seeing life through just infinite possibility and love and freedom. Because freedom is within. It's not defined by if you have to go to a job that they say you got to be there from 9 to 5. No, freedom is your inner knowing of yourself. And so people say to me, like, oh, how do you change your circumstances? You don't try to change the circumstances. You change the lens in which you see it through, and then your circumstances shift in alignment with that. And it's not, doesn't need to be overnight. Like, one, you go inward and observe from stillness, you disband tension in your body and mind, you allow yourself to see life from presence. Next thing you know, decisions and opportunities are just arising from alignment, because your being is one with all that is. You're just opening yourself up to the infinite field of possibilities, you know. And like, even Georgia, to me, my little sister, is a very cool example. She was working in London in a job that she had to be there on certain times, with a certain limit to what her capacity to earn was based upon that role. And, you know, she's now created a life for herself where she's able to apply her strengths and skills to different businesses and individuals and creative expressions of her own, and open up to the possibility, oh, that I can name the value of my time for what I do, and work with people that align to that, and bring different skills forth that I have within me that I can apply to what I do. Like, you know, she was on set for a Vogue shoot for Vogue Italy, like helping these world-class photographers, you know, put together, like, you know, and I saw her thing that she put up, being like, wow, you know, I never thought I'd be on the set of a Vogue shoot. And the only reason you never thought it is because we were living in a reality that tried to teach us you're only able to do what you currently conceive in your mind that you can do. Whereas it's like, no, you can actually do, there's also, if it's possible, it's possible. It's just being open to it. And yeah, I feel, for me, Art Workshop is a vehicle to be able to express that type of possibility into the world. And you know, to me, in my experience, like, alignment of my feet, feeling the ground and the energetic flow of how I feel through my body, when my feet are engaged. Because, you know, for example, if, say, you're living in this reality, you've got things to do and places to be, there was a point in my life where I very clearly realized having my feet constricted is just not an option for me no more. And I wanted shoes that were cool, so I decided to make them. And it goes in alignment with what we're talking about, Yasmin and Cooper, around if you're in a place like New York or London or anywhere in life where there's different challenges that you're facing, and we all have different challenges as this human expression. You can begin to make choices that you bring yourself into balance, presence, and flow and relaxation and alignment in your way of being that will just serve you well in whatever you're doing. Because life's going to bring things that bring the idea of needing to go into like tension or reactivity or seeking. Whereas if what we do and our choices that we're in control of are in alignment with flow and ease and alignment, then when those moments of challenge come, we can more easily go into relaxation, presence, flow. And one of the coolest superpowers of a human is when shit gets really chaotic around you, the most beautiful thing you can do is slow down, breathe. And then what happens is people look like and see like, that dude's chilling. Like he's like he's in flow when everything around him's like, and you just like, and then you start to see people like, I want to know what's going on there. I want that because we all want that. It's what we want for ourselves. We want peace. Peace is love. Love is happiness. And they all arise from the infinite well of presence that we are. And it's just about choosing that and allowing those choices to flow through all that we do and see and show up as and express. And so, yeah, anyway, here's
Love
this is the
it.
shoes. Pretty much what I'm gonna do is, because I want this, if this was mine, I would just not worry about going over onto the gum, because eventually the gum, the dye just rubs off the gum. But because I'm gonna take this out to the guy to do this mad crip walk in East LA, I want it to look fresh. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna I got a little paintbrush in the car, so later I'm gonna go around those little points with the paintbrush, so just to make it nice and neat. And then yeah, I will, with the paintbrush, I'll also just touch up like around here. So it's like nicely aligned. And then yeah, I'll let that sit for a while and I'll decide whether I want to put another layer in. I'll probably just, for this one, the layer I'll do will just be like to even out any areas that maybe have got heavier levels, like as you can see there. But that may just be now because that area there is a bit still wet dye. But what I'll do is I'll go over it again and just touch up certain areas to even out, so where the dye's sitting is even throughout. And then I've got me this beautiful marine navy blue hand dyed Italian leather flow trainer. And yeah, what you find is like, because it's been hand dyed and the way that the leather sits, the dye sits into the leather, it really creates like this layered, textured, quite beautiful feeling. That's quite artistic, and you'll notice, like, people will ask you like, wow, like where'd you get those shoes? Because there's something, you don't really get hand dyed leather these days very, like, as a regular offering. So there's something beautiful about the character that it creates, and it's fun to be able to do it yourself. So yeah, that's probably about the end of this conversation for now.
Mine are getting there. I'm with the soft, bristled paintbrush
Yeah.
just going through the edges, but I'm really
Can you
liking
show
it.
it? Can you hold it up for me? Oh wow, that
Yeah.
whoa, that looks cool.
Really, really like it. With some like pale yellow laces. I think it'll
Yeah,
look.
I love how yes, whoa, that looks sick.
Yeah, and I appreciate this conversation. Honestly, I feel very relaxed. It's
Yeah,
a
that's
very
amazing.
therapeutic session.
Yeah. Wow, all I would say with all the words I said, pretty much the way to summarize it is breathe through the nose, deeply and presently to the base of the spine, and feel your whole stomach, and then from the stomach, let the full inhale expand into the diaphragm, and then exhale out the nose. So when you inhale in the nose, imagine like energy going from here with the breath down into the base of the spine. And then when you exhale, imagine the energy coming back up from the base of the spine and then out. So and when you do that, be present with the breathing and the energy flowing through the body, and then also allow your awareness to kind of trace through the body and become aware of any areas that are holding tension, and just really consciously relax those parts. It might be in your hands, your face, and your neck, wherever it may be. Your feet sometimes tense up when we're feeling up in our head. And it's nice to do it with like a good upright posture. And also standing is a really good way to like become conscious of your breath and relax your body, because the structure of your body holds all of the gravity, and then the muscles and the fascia and everything can relax and allow the structure to just hold the weight of our body rather than the tension. And then we breathe through the spine and relax. And you kind of like close your eyes and you see like a light in between here. And you breathe that energy down and up from that light and feel it move. So if you guys want, we can do a few together to finish. So you sit in like a nice upright position, and you can close your eyes and then breathe all the way in through the nose and imagine the energy coming, the light in between your eyes, going down with your breath into the base of your spine. So we'll do that. And allow that inhale to go from filling your stomach up and then all the way into filling up the diaphragm in your chest. And then when you've reached that full inhale, allow the breath to exhale out the nose and imagine the energy flowing up from the base of your spine into that area of the third eye where the light is. And a lot of these like spiritual practices have been formulated into quite materialistic things, but if you take away any of the like seeking spiritual things and you just allow yourself to feel your body, it makes sense as to why a lot of these ancient spiritual type concepts have talked about humming and that om vibration. So if you want, we can on the exhale, you can keep your mouth closed, and as you exhale through your nose, I'll demonstrate. So you do the breathe in, and when you exhale, you just allow the breath to go out the nose, but you allow a humming and you feel the vibration like in your ears and through your body. So it's like, mm. And this will be good for you with the baby, Georgia, because the humming vibration is like the ultimate relaxation of our nervous system. So humming through your body is like, it's like you giving your inside of your body self-love of like saying you can relax. So if you want, we can do like 5 or 10 breaths, inhale, and then on the exhale, just and then breathe back in. Okay, so we'll go inhale. Mm. 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 And then you can take that relaxation into every part of your day. And when you feel any time in life that you want to bring yourself back to a really peaceful, regulated nervous system from within the body, you can breathe like that. And if you can want, you can do the humming. And that's your reminder of that you have everything within you that you'll ever need.
Thank
Grayson,
you.
thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I
Thank
hope
you.
you have a lovely day and evening.